Group B sings for the second time, and we meet another new wild card in the Caterpillar. Let's talk about the Masked Singer. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It, and welcome to my Masked Singer recap reaction video for Season 6. This is now the second time Group B has sang, and we're going to talk about all of the singers, and we will do a live reaction here. I know who or what character was voted off, but I don't know yet who is under the mask. We're going to find that out. Or you probably already know, but I'm going to find it out for sure as we go along here. I think between my own thoughts last time Group B performed and you guys helping me out in the comments, I do think we might have all of these correct. I don't know. It's always hard. We'll see. But before we get into the specifics of tonight's episode with the clues and the guesses, I do want to remind you to please subscribe to the channel below if you are not a subscriber yet. I'm right about 850 on the subscribers, so trying to get to 1,000 before the end of the year. So if you're not a subscriber and you do enjoy this video, that would be awesome. But of course, the most important thing for you Masked Singer viewers is the comments. Let's talk about who is under the masks. Let's put these clues together, and we'll go from there. All right, so the first one to sing this time around was the Banana Split. There was a whole love theme for tonight's show. I'm not exactly sure why, because we're not near Valentine's Day, but whatever, that was the theme they decided to go with tonight. And one of you commented last week that they spend way too much time with the judges and doing the bits and Nick and everything. And I completely agree. They were about 4 minutes into the episode before we even heard anything about any of the people under the masks. So I agree. They need to just kind of keep this moving. So Banana Split was first. And so they were talking about, it was the clue package took place in the kitchen. They were talking about a recipe for a great love song, since, you know, it's all love themed. So they said it's good for fantasy. Some pain, we saw a little red cross symbol. Reality, we saw a globe. That's what the male counterpart of the Banana Split said. And then the female counterpart said, no, I think rather than reality, it's more about heart. And then we see a plate that says the word nothing in maybe chocolate or something. Okay. They sang Cry Me a River, the Michael Bublé tune, not the Timberlake song. But just like last time, it was just the female of the pair that was doing the singing, and the male was playing the piano, which lines up with what we've been thinking last week. So then after they perform, they do a speed dating round where basically everybody on the panel gets to ask a question, and then the person says, you know, who they most associate with on the panel, basically. You know, who they choose from the speed dating. So, I'm not going to say who asked what question. I'll just read them off here. Do you kiss on a first date? Yes. Do you prefer a pool or a lake? A lake. Do you prefer a big party to a small gathering? Yes, big party all the way. And I have no idea. Oh, have you dated anybody on the panel? She said no. I had to write so small for the speed dating to fit this all in on my notebook here. All right, so she said no, we haven't dated anybody on the panel. Okay. And she said that they want to give their heart to Nicole from the speed dating round because they will have a ball together. All right, so the clues lined up for the panel, and they thought it could be, Ken thought maybe Craig Robinson and Ashley Tisdale, because they are his fellow judges on The Masked Dancer. And actually, honestly, that's not a terrible guess. Craig Robinson is known for his piano playing. He did it on The Office very well. I guess he's not on the panel of The Masked Dancer, but he's the host of it. He's the Nick. But Tisdale is one of his panelists. So I didn't hate that. Camila Cabello and Shawn Mendes was mentioned. Sarah Bareilles and Josh Groban. I told you my writing was small for this. Sarah Bareilles and Josh Groban, which Nick was like, well, wouldn't we hear Josh singing? And they said, no, they're going to wait and have him perform later. Which, look, they've fooled us with that before. Hanson originally was just two people singing, and then eventually it expanded to three as the weeks went on. But look, last week, somebody on the panel mentioned it, and my guess, because of, actually, you guys in the comments, you were thinking Catherine McPhee and David Foster, and I thought, from last week's performance and clues, I thought that was a good guess. Well, I'm doubling down on that. I still think this is Catherine McPhee and David Foster. For one thing, when they were doing the cookbook thing and he mentioned reality, of course, she is from American Idol, and we saw a globe. It could have been focused on America. I didn't write that part down, but, reality, America, got that. And then she said, no, I think it's more about heart. She has done a bunch of songs with the word heart in it, which makes sense because she does sing a lot of love songs. But one of the songs she sang on Smash had the word heart in it. And it also, I think it was a different song, but it also had the word nothing in it. Smash. And it was, the word nothing was written on a plate, and, you smash a plate sometimes. So anyway, and then the Have a Ball Together, I didn't look this up, but I'm pretty sure Catherine McPhee probably would have performed with Pussycat Dolls on one of these radio jingle balls. They do these big concerts with like 8 to 10 performers, and, a lot of the stations call it the Jingle Ball. And there's no doubt in my mind, because Catherine McPhee would have been popular at the same time musically as the Pussycat Dolls. So that makes total sense to me. I'm doubling down on that guess. All right, our second performer was the Cupcake. And she was talking about how she's a hopeless romantic. She likes to think of herself as the Black Elizabeth Taylor, because she's been married so many times. And this was like a say yup to the cup kind of theme, say yes to the dress sort of riff. We saw a needle and thread as well. And then she sang Finesse by Bruno Mars. She said she loves some Bruno Mars. For the speed dating round, what is your most used app on your phone? Whole Foods. Do you have advice for your younger self? Date, don't marry. And do you believe in love at first sight? Sometimes. And she gave her heart to Nick. She said, we both got double trouble. All right, so the guesses from the panel for this one, Tina Turner, who I believe maybe was guest last time as well. Jack A. from Jenny, because of the double trouble comment. She was the mom on Sister Sister. Grace Jones, she was also thinking. And then Nicole was thinking maybe Tina Knowles, who is Beyonce's mom, but of course Double Trouble could be Beyonce and Solange Knowles. Sure. I forget who I even said last week. It might have been RuPaul, because I know that was mentioned by one of the panelists last week. But the Cupcake is the one who got voted out, so let's go to the tape in a moment. But first, let's talk about what their final guesses were. We also, by the way, had a video sort of message from Jane Fonda talking about Cupcake, saying she had a real blast at dinner last time they were together. And nobody else, I think, got one of those. So I thought that was kind of odd that they gave her one, but it's a little bonus clue, I guess. All right, so you guys in the comments have really turned me on to something. The one thing that I was really kind of glomming onto last week that I could not figure out is that she kept saying she's used to sharing the spotlight. She was supposed to be there with somebody else, but she's going to fly solo. And so the Pointer Sisters kept coming up from you guys in the group, and that made a lot of sense to me with all of the clues from last week. The compass pointing due north from last week, and then this week the needle and thread. A needle has a point? Pointer Sisters. So the guesses from the panel. The first impression guess from Ken was Angela Bassett, which isn't bad. I mean, this was someone who was definitely throwing people off, because the speaking voice is more feminine, but the singing voice was almost masculine. So that's why some of the guesses last week were like RuPaul. Tracy Chapman was guest last week. So Angela Bassett was Ken's original guess. He turned that on to Tina Turner. And I said this last week. I've said it in the comments. Tina Turner's probably never going to do this show. She does not live in America. She is 91 years old. She has not performed in over a decade. I don't think it's going to be ever Tina Turner, to be honest. And it's a shame. I love Tina Turner, but I just don't think it's going to happen. Nicole's first impression guest was Roberta Flack, but she got onto the Pointer Sisters thing, and she guessed Ruth Pointer. Robin and Jenny both guessed RuPaul for their first impression guess, and they switched it up to somebody with the last name of Jones. No relation, but Robin went with Leslie Jones, the comedian, and Jenny went with Grace Jones from the 80s, a big, fashion icon, and really somebody who does have a deeper voice for sure. But look, the clues have certainly set me on a path, and I was already going to go there from what you guys said in the comments, and then this week's clues just put it all together for me. I don't know the double trouble. I don't know if Ruth has a twin. I know that they're all pointers, but they might not even all be sisters. They could be sisters and cousins. So maybe Ruth only has one sister in the group, and that's the double trouble. I don't know. But anyway, I believe this is Ruth Pointer. So we're going to go to the tape here and check it out. Is this Ruth Pointer? Let's see. All right. It is. It's Ruth Pointer. Wow, she looks pretty good. She actually looks a little bit like Shaka Khan with that hair. I figured it was her after all these clues, but Nicole got it for sure. I love the Pointer Sisters, by the way. All right, the needle and cupcake clue. Right, it means the pointer. Okay, Pointer Sisters. Oh, now they're going to talk about that. Oh. There was going to be 2 cupcakes, and I think she said Anita is having some health issues. So good for her. Jump rope is a clue to the Pointer Sisters song, Jump for My Love. Yeah, Robin had mentioned the jump rope, but I didn't write that down. I don't know if that was this week or last week, but yes, that's awesome because I'm a big Pointer Sisters fan. Cupcakes, on stage mentioned in Double Trouble. Oh, she has twin children. Okay. So maybe Nick does too, because she said it was related to Nick. We both got Double Trouble. So maybe, I know Nick has like 8 kids or something, so that could be something with that. But all right, Ruth Pointer. So, so thanks to you guys, I can claim that one in the victory, but not, of course, for a first impression guess. I did not get Ruth for the first one, but happy to be on board for her now. Okay, let's continue. There's 3 more singers, including the new Caterpillar performer. Queen of Hearts was next. She said, people are surprised that she's so shy, but loved and lost doesn't mean she can't get back on the horse. And she was like, let's turn this into a dating profile. So we saw a bunch of, it was like a Tinder type thing. And we saw The Rock, where it says action star. Then after that, Joe Kerr, a guy named Joe, and his last name is Kerr, but obviously that's Joker. Couch Surfer, Sourdough Boy, and Austin Tatius were the other guys in the thing. I'm not sure if that necessarily meant anything or they were just being kind of cutesy. But she sang La Vie en Rose, and she said she's never really sung French before. So, but she did it perfectly, and it was wonderful. And Robin said it was one of the best vocals in 6 years of the show. For the speed dating, would you ever date an ex? No. What do you do on your day off? I like to read, take hikes, and ride motorcycles. And let's see, what do you notice first about somebody, their vibe, and what's the favorite place you've ever traveled? And she said the Alps. All right, so, and she gave her heart to Ken after the speed dating round. She said we'd have a roasting hot first date. All right, so guesses from the panel included Ireland Baldwin, because Ken did the roast of Alec Baldwin. He thought the roasting was a clue to that. Ashley Judd, because of the action star thing. That came from Robin. Lady Gaga from Nicole, because Gaga does love the song La Vie en Rose. She worked it into Star is Born. And then Miley Cyrus was brought up as well, once again from Jenny. Miley, by the way, is becoming one of those guesses every single season. We're always getting a Miley guess from the panel. So I really wish they would bring back that $50 jar for if you say somebody that we've said a million times. But look, for me, This one was a slam dunk last week. I'm even more satisfied with my first impression guess this week. I think this is Jewel. The riding of the horse. Loved and lost doesn't mean I can't get back on the horse. She famously loves horses. She married a rancher. They have a lot of horses together. So I loved that. I don't know exactly what she has to do with Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. But Joker, okay, this is a little bit of a stretch because it was a different movie. But Foolish Games was a big hit, and it featured in one of the Batman films. It wasn't one of the ones with a Joker, but still something. And then even, so maybe these all do mean something, because Ostentatious, I just thought of this, she lives in Texas. So Austin, Texas could be something with that. And then the We'd Have a Roasting Hot Time. I actually think Ken was on the right track, because Jewel did do a roast. I actually am not sure that it was the Alec Baldwin roast, but I'm a big fan of this one comedian that has done a few of the roasts, and I watch her, sizzle reel on Comedy Central's YouTube page often, and she did roast Jewel at one of those. And she called her Trailer Swift with those teeth and all of that. It was very funny. But I believe this is Jewel. I'm sticking with that. I think it's a correct first impression guess. I'm pretty proud of it. All right, now up next is the Mallard. He said he met his wife in 4th grade. We see the gal in question biting an apple. He said she looks like a glass of iced tea. So the panel was thinking somebody Southern. And that was really it. He said the rest is history. And that was kind of the whole clue package. Then he talked about his song and how it's something different for him. Which it was, I guess, because he did some rapping this time. Last time he did a country song. This time it was My House by Flo Rida. And on the speed dating round, who was your first crush? Olivia Newton-John. Do you like the lights on or off? He said yes, on for sure. Best physical feature, in your opinion, of yourself? My dimples. And are you bald or hairy? And he said, I'm extremely hairy. And he said he gave his heart to Jenny. We could sit on the couch and get on the same wavelength. So that to me just meant perhaps he was on The View as a guest one time or something. Jenny's met most of these people through her career, but the guesses from the panel, Robin, I thought was maybe going to even hit the golden buzzer because he seemed very, very sure of his Freddie Prinze Jr. clue with the dimples. I will admit Freddie Prinze Jr. has very good dimples. Nick Offerman was guessed because last week there was a Chris Pratt clue, and he is married famously to Megan Mullally, although who knows how long that's been. Jenny thought maybe John Bon Jovi because he has been married to his high school sweetheart for years. And then Mario Lopez was mentioned as well, I think again by Robin, about the dimples. All right, now last week, I don't even remember which country singer I guessed, but it was one of them. And a few people in the comments led me to this other person that I never would have guessed in a million years because I don't like this show. I don't really care for this family because the patriarch made some real homophobic comments years and years ago, and I don't know, I just never got over it because I never watched this show to begin with. But Duck Dynasty is the show in question, which makes the costume of Mallard a little bit on the nose. But this could be Willie Robertson from the Duck Dynasty. I specifically wrote down the rest is history when he said that in the clue package because I was like, what if Duck Dynasty is on the History Channel? But it turns out it's not. It's on A&E. So that wasn't really a clue, I think. But in any case, he is buddies enough with Chris Pratt, I guess. And then the thing with the platinum selling album, after you guys were saying, I think it's Willie Robertson from the Duck Dynasty, I looked it up, and yes, they had a Robertson family Christmas album that did apparently go platinum. So I don't love this guess because I'm not a fan of these people necessarily, but I think this is Willie Robertson. I think you guys are correct on that one. All right, so we close with the Caterpillar. This was our new performer. I think there's one more wild card that we're going to meet next time Group B performs, and I think that's it. Other than that, I think we've met all of them. But the caterpillar, we had an early clue for this one, and that was a picture of Taylor Swift, and that was something we got, the week before the season began with the preview show. But he said, life has been all about metamorphosis for me. We saw a basketball thing there on a stand. It was like a futuristic type of room. There was a hurricane on the TV. Or some kind of storm. He said things weren't great at home, so he left at a young age, lived in a car, stole to make ends meet. Parents said I would end up in jail, and they were right. We saw a picture then of the Great Lakes, and he said he's here to steal your date. And he sang If I Were a Boy by Beyonce. For the speed dating round, have you ever ghosted anybody? He said probably. Have you ever been cheated on? He said yes. And do you prefer to call or text? And he said text. And he chose Robin for his date. He said, I can't take my eyes off of those shirts that he wears. All right, so the guesses from the panel, they were all sort of in the boy band vein. We had Howie Dorough and AJ McLean both come out. And then Ken went a slightly different direction, but still Backstreet adjacent with Aaron Carter. I actually don't hate the Aaron Carter guess. I really don't. But I've been trying to think of the Taylor Swift connection. This person is not from a Great Lakes state. He's from an adjacent state to the Great Lakes, I believe. He's from Indiana. I don't know much about his past life before he was a performer. He may have gone to jail. He may have been homeless and living in his car. I don't know. But he does have a voice that I think kind of matches up with this. And he has sang duets with Taylor Swift before in concert. In fact, on Taylor's 1989 tour, he got up and sang one of his hit songs with Taylor Swift. So there's that connection. I'm going to guess that this could be Andy Grammer. Andy Grammer sings Keep Your Head Up. He sings Honey, I'm Good, which I think is the song they performed on Taylor's tour. These are both big hits, both on the pop chart and on the adult contemporary chart. But, he's not such an A-lister that he wouldn't do this show. I think he's actually right in the wheelhouse of people that would do this show. So I don't know, just kind of spitballing here, but I think it could be Andy Grammer. So that's where we're at. All right, that will do it for the Masked Singer for the week. Next week, I'm not sure if they're going to do Group B again, so we can meet that final wild card, or if we're going to go back to Group A again. My guess would be we'll do Group B again, since we did Group A the first 2 weeks back to back. So, and that will be that, and then we will launch into the semifinals or the quarterfinals or something. But by that point, I think each group will only have 4 singers left, maybe. So yeah, that's we'll get down to business there. Thank you for watching. Please comment below with your thoughts, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.